Australia's Treasurer will be handing down the annual budget tomorrow. It comes at a time of increasing concern over cost of living, high interest rates, an earlier surge in inflation and a worsening housing crisis. It all adds up to a major economic challenge for the country's Labour government. But as Roger Maynard reports from Sydney, not everyone is complaining.
After a big drop in real estate values during the pandemic, prices are once again on the up. Despite a jump in interest rates, which has made it much more expensive for home seekers to borrow money, the housing market is humming. Here in the Sydney suburb of Adenza Park, Vlad and Blanca, who built their house nearly 40 years ago, are downsizing, and there's no shortage of buyers.
Quality property on good blocks next to amenities, schools, shops and parks are just going for great prices.
Even so, many other Australians are doing it tough. Wages are not keeping up with inflation, and the jobs market is showing signs of weakening. The government is under intense pressure to bring down the cost of living, which is affecting so many.
The biggest changes we've seen over the last year and a half are when it comes to putting a roof over your head, so stress caused by mortgage or rent. Groceries has been a very big increase. That's gone from about 15% to about 40%. And energy and petrol. So they're the kind of four big drivers when it comes to consumer stress in Australia right now.
It's a difficult balancing act for Treasurer Jim Chalmers, who's hoping to reveal a surplus for the second year running, as he outlined in this appearance before the Lowy Institute.
And look, just on the reason we're trying to still land a surplus, and we won't know for a little while yet whether we've been able to achieve that. But the reason we're going for that is not as an end in itself, but because we think running a tight ship on the budget is an important way of putting downward pressure on inflation.
Lowering inflation is the government's all-consuming goal. It's currently put at 3.6%, but needs to fall further.
It's a really tricky time. Basically, inflation is the everything of the budget. It has not come down as fast as the central bank would like. That says the government has to be careful not to poke the inflationary bear, not to add too much extra money into the economy.
While Australia's Reserve Bank has decided to keep interest rates on hold for the moment, growing global uncertainty and a huge increase in immigration is only adding to the country's woes. Net arrivals here nudged 548,000 in the 12 months to last September, with 105,000 arriving in February alone. Many of them are international students seeking rental accommodation, while others are short and long-term visa holders. The government aims to cut the number of new arrivals by 50% to ease the severe accommodation shortage. Meanwhile, back in Adenza Park, there's cause for celebration. In truth, the only really satisfied customers right now are people like Blanca and her family, who are reaping the rewards of a rising real estate market after selling their home for $1,362,000.
Congratulations!
Good news for them, but the budget may strike a different tone, with the Treasurer signalling a restrained and responsible fiscal policy for the year ahead. There are many competing forces in the Australian economy at the moment, but with barely a year to go before the next election, the government has to pull a few rabbits out of the hat in this week's budget if it is to remain in power. Roger Maynard, CNA, Sydney.